Hey everyone, someone here from WynnStrength. On today's quick training tip video, I wanted to talk about feet and a way to think about how you're standing and how you want to think about your feet interfacing with the ground. For the most part, we're walking on the ground all the time, so it is somewhat an overlooked concept to think about when you're trying to develop your lift and get a little bit more power and a little bit more efficiency in your movements. So this isn't about stance and how wide your feet should be for particular movements. That'll come down to personal preference as well as what you're trying to achieve. So for example, a wider stance in the squat is going to activate a little bit more hips and glutes and hamstrings, whereas a narrower stance with the squat will activate more quadricep muscles, all other things being equal. So it's a little bit of an example as to how you want to think about foot placement, but rather we're looking about how your feet actually interact with the ground. On today's video, one thing that is often overlooked is kind of like a limp foot on the ground. For the most part, you want to have a tense foot. You want to think about like a tripod, where it's your heel, your big toe, and your pinky toe kind of planting your foot into the ground. One image that I like to think of is pretend you're a bird and you're trying to grab things with the three talons, except you're obviously just trying to grab a flat surface. And that pretty much goes for every single lift. There's not really a lift where you want to have a floppy foot. You always want to tense that foot as much as possible, because much like trying to shoot cannonball out of a canoe, if you don't have that solid base, and that foot obviously is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, that's where you're going to potentially lose power or at least feel a little looseness in the squat. And when we drive our feet into the ground tensely, it's going to help just mentally check that our legs and everything else is tensed up and we have that solid core. We have everything else in check for a nice braced, stable lift, whatever the case may be. So whether that be deadlift, squat, bench press, even a barbell row, just about everything other than a pull-up, you want to have nice firm feet planted on the ground. And whether you've trained barefoot, in heeled shoes, in flat shoes, in sneakers, whatever it is, try and make sure to at the very least think of grabbing the floor with your feet and maintaining pressure equally among those 3 points of contact with the ground. I like to just simply tense my foot as much as possible during all my lifts, and I know that does help, at the very least tense my calves to a degree, and then it kind of radiates up through the body. So I know, okay, I need to keep my legs in check, I need to keep my glutes in check and brace my core. It's kind of like that first cue that'll help you create stability throughout the rest of the body. Hopefully that helps you with your training. It's not going to do a lot for your lifting, but it'll help just add that little bit more stability, so maybe you can eke out a couple of more pounds or a couple more kilos on your next lift. This has been Sam from WynnStrength, and remember, a better life through strength.